welcome today to Letty Speaks, also known as Sunfire 369. Thank you for stopping by again. Today I want to talk about the heart. The heart. And I want to talk about the heart because it has definitely been a very significant part of my journey. I found several times I've been pointed to observe or check in or just make sure that my heart space is healthy, is right. Matter of fact, as I thought about this message, what came to mind was the scripture from Proverbs that talks about the need to diligently guard the heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. Out of it flows our conditions that we deal with in life. And so for me, what that means is that no matter what part of the area of the functions of our being and our existing, right, there's some attachment to the heart, whether it be psychological, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, soul, right? Everything is somehow connected or filtered or attached to the heart. And so that's why it's so important to guard it and to be aware and conscious of what's happening within it. Because what's being filtered into the heart, or what's being fed through the heart, you know, good or bad, has some type of ramification on life, period, right? And so I wanted to take a look. That has been something that's been on my heart, you know, and so I definitely wanted to peek in and see what comes out here, see what Spirit could be saying in terms of the heart space, okay? And so thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you taking the time and allowing me to speak into your life. I don't take it lightly, so thank you. And so let's get started. With that being said, welcome. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you are resonating with my readings, if you are returning, thank you for stopping by again. I hope there's something here said that is resonating for you. All right, so let's jump in. All right. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by again. And so for today's reading, we'll be actually working with a couple of different stones in the shape of a heart, which I thought was very much in line, right? So we have the Unakite stone. I hope you can see that. It's a little stone in the shape of a heart. And so the Unakite has a very gentle and comforting energy that promotes feelings of gratitude. This stone helps you to see the beauty in life and appreciate all the little things. It also works to remove obstacles to personal growth, especially helping to release any emotional pain that could be preventing one from moving forward. For the Unakite, its powerful vibration is within the heart chakra, and it actually helps to develop acceptance and love towards self and others. So this will be one of the stones that we're working with today. And we're going to start with that stone. For the actual base of our reading, I pulled Butterfly Goddess Metamorphosis. This is coming from our Chakra Oracle deck. The Butterfly Goddess Metamorphosis is reaching completion. This is you reaching completion on this part of the journey, preparing for an ascension or a higher level of operation is what this is. It's definitely rooted in the root chakra, which talks about our sense of belonging and our sense of livelihood. It talks about foundations like home and family. And it also is the ability to be grounded and take up space as well. Butterfly Goddess Metamorphosis is what we'll be starting off. This will be the base of our reading here. So let's get started. And so for my first card, which talks about metamorphosis, I can't help but think of course, and we see butterflies all through this picture, I can't help but think of butterflies and the unique experience of a butterfly rising through this type of change that's happening. And I feel like this is possibly you ending a part of the journey that you're on as it pertains to your heart, as it pertains to the experience that has been very apparent heart-wise. This definitely not only deals with the root chakra, but it goes all the way up through all of the energy centers, all the way up to from the base chakra all the way up through the crown chakra. And so this process, as I was saying with the heart, how it just kind of infiltrates every area of life, of the experience that we have in life. In that way, I feel like this is an experience, it's an energy, it's a rising through to completion of a certain part of your journey. I feel like there is a realization that's coming in as you complete this segment of your journey. Something's coming to an end here. And there's almost like the preparation of entering into a new level, a new height, if I can even say that. And this could very well have a lot to do with like an awakening that's happening through the heart space. Like consciousness happening along with this type of ascension that's happening as it pertains to your heart. For who I'm talking to, you could be coming to an end of a cycle of and this experience that you've had has been a deep experience that's taken you through many levels of experiences and development that was really, really necessary to come to where you are at this point in time. Right? And it's almost like I'm being drawn to the Kundalini. It's almost like an energy rising up, not only empowering, but causing change as it's rising up. And it's almost like this energy is what you're experiencing as you are being lifted to a higher level of ascension on this very specific journey that you're on. This journey has been very unique in that it required a significant amount of power to actually get you through it, right? It wasn't just a regular journey. This was a unique journey that required specific assistance and a specific force actually to push you through. There could be a lightness that you're feeling at this point within your heart. I'm feeling with this card. I feel like you're on the other half of the actual transformation or the metamorphosis that has taken place here. With every change, every transformation, there's like sections of that process, right? Definitely a painful section. I think during the part where that caterpillar actually metamorphosizes into the butterfly physically, I'm sure there's a level of pain with that change that happens. But at a certain point of that change, once most of the change has taken place physically, there is a resting or release of tension. So right now you could actually be feeling like you've come through this ecstatic energy and reaching this end point. And you may even feel like you're still in that process. But the butterfly goddess is delivering the energy to allow yourself to really settle in to a place of quiet reflection. In this place, there's the possibility and the comfort of looking back over all of the challenges, maybe even the gifts and the realizations that you've had along the way. You've been delivered to a place of a higher view. Yeah, that's a question to ask yourself. If you're not sure, have you reached a place where you are able to access a higher view? Are there any concerns about what lies ahead? But overall, this energy is inviting you to rest in the assurance that after this ending, after each ending is a new beginning. That's for sure. And so this space that you are being ushered into, the metamorphosis, reaching this completion on this part of your journey, preparing for that higher view, for a rise to higher places. This space that you sit in right now is a time to really wrap up and kind of integrate the lessons and the experiences and honor this part of the evolution. And this is like the overarching theme of the reading here. This energy of completion as it concerns the heart, processes, and kind of like the interpretation of your experiences on your journey. I sense it's been a very difficult time getting to this point. And what's usually necessary along the journey is allowing space for not only rest, but also for celebration. Like, allow yourself to be celebrated. However you can do that, however you can invite that in. This is like a transition to a different level, I feel. Within the heart space, though, this would definitely be things that you have experienced through the heart. And of course, we did just talk about a higher view. Of course, that card would definitely come out as well. Again, right? These experiences that you've had through the heart space. I feel like this is definitely overall life experiences, but these are experiences that you have tussled with and you've had deep consideration as it pertains to the heart, as it was being processed through the heart space. These are emotional experiences, emotional development and maturity. It has brought you to this place where you're able to actually see a greater span of area because of what you've been through. your perspective has been broadened. Your consciousness, you probably have come to a place where you're actually sitting in more of a neutral conscious space where you don't really feel the necessity to judge things. You allow things to be. And instead of trying to make sense, you just kind of sit and become aware. No longer needing to assume anything. And along with this comes the ability to detach. It's almost like allowing things to just flow in and out without having to grasp for it or take ownership of or possession of it as it's coming and going. It's the ability to remain unbiased. Sometimes this energy is necessary for us to really move past our own ego. Because of lack of this type of experience that you've come through, it allows us to stay in this very small-minded perspective. But this process through your heart space has widened your perspective so that you have a greater capacity to love, I believe. Instead of falling into the automatic response to life or the automatic reaction from what we've learned or a conditioned place, rather than one of awareness of what is. Yeah. So being in that reactivity really keeps us in repeating old patterns. But this space of awareness, I feel like that you are in, is more of a empowerment of sorts that allows you to be aware of and to be able to avoid what was at one point in time old triggers or that energy that would try to keep us in our comfort zone or keep us in a policing type of energy as new things are being introduced, right? Yeah. But you've been given a higher view. Through what has happened through your heart up to this point. And because of that, there's a greater availability that's able to come in towards you because of this distance that you've created. It's allowing you to be able to wait before responding and to be more graceful in your interactions and to really see how everything is connected and how every experience is in fact a gift. And because of this, you have this openness within the world right now. And all you have to do is roll with it. It's taking you to a higher ground. And so just be mindful and remember to celebrate the spectacle of this dance that life is affording you. Also, Beyond the Ordinary came out as well, which is a very mystical looking card, as you can see. Beyond the Ordinary. It's being able to trust. It is definitely a mystical energy, yet it's being able to trust in what we can't see right now at this moment and what we may not be able to understand right now at this moment. And recognizing that there are things that just can't be known in advance. And we're not meant to be able to grasp them intellectually. But it's the acceptance and the awareness that everything is as it should be, even if it doesn't make sense at this moment in time. Beyond the ordinary. It's stepping beyond our memory or our intellect and even our five senses as we experience them. What lies beyond those things is this very beautiful, magical, extraordinary potential within the mystical realm, the spiritual realm, the quantum realm, right? What some would call the great mystery. This place, it doesn't operate under the same laws that we're actually used to, but it has its own way of working things out perfectly. And it's hard to understand, but we're not meant to, again. And there's many ways that we can try to dive in and get knowledge or become aware of what's lying ahead, or try to get a deeper understanding of something, why it happened a certain way. But sometimes that's not possible. And I feel like there are things about your experience that fits in this category. And that's because there are certain things that can't be named or are yet to be placed. Yet. I say yet, right? It may still be in flux. So you can't know, and may very well never be meant to know. Certain things, no matter how hard you try to understand why something happened or how, or when will it happen, right? There's a mystery here. And it's a mystery because there is a surrendering that needs to happen to not knowing. There's a trust that's being asked to be embraced here with how things will unfold, or possibly why things happened a certain way. Just know that what's waiting beyond this process is beyond the ordinary, like this card says. It's not, I don't feel like it's been shaped or formed yet. But in all of this, you are still expected to stay the course and be open to allow whatever comes through to be exactly as it will, without trying to ascertain anything in advance. This is that energy. In other words, this could very well be considered faith, right? There's a level of faith that you have carried very well, and you're being asked to continue to carry that forward. It's necessary. And then the uncharted sea. So there, yeah, you're going somewhere, though it may not be necessarily seen, right? These processes has brought you to a broader level of existence as you see things, as you perceive and understand, and open yourself to understanding what's going on around you. But there is the stepping into the unknown, right? This is very mystical. All of this here for who I'm talking to, as it pertains to the heart, there is like a very mystical energy as it pertains to what's happening within the heart space, what has happened, and how it's cultivating where you're being led. I feel like everything that you have dealt with, even from a child, has been very purposeful. As hard as that sounds to some, especially for those who would consider themselves to have had a hard or a difficult life. Yet there is the understanding that everything has been purposeful. Some things we may never understand. Some things we're not meant to understand, but just understand that they were purposeful. And the uncharted sea brings in a little bit more of that, this is existence, this is position, and this is moving, right? And we're talking about heart space, stepping into like the unknown, not having a map, moving beyond comfort zone, choosing to do things differently, trusting in how things just play out naturally, the ebb and flow of life, being in the dark and letting curiosity lead, having faith that all will be well, right? I know the captain of my ship, and I trust where I am being led. Right? This is good. I like this. I like it. Yeah. They don't call it a comfort zone just for the sake of making up, words and putting them together. Comfort means feeling good, not being, awkwardly placed, right? It's safe, it's familiar, right? Being at home in yourself. So now is not one of those times, right? This is not that energy. When you're comfort and in your comfort zone, there is no sense that you need more than what you're seeing or what is available right now, or having anything different than the land that you live in right now. This is not that. This is being invited into uncharted waters where things are stirring and adventure is calling. And there could be the urge to resist, right? So that you can stay in your comfort zone. But there's the sense here that moving into the uncharted territory is actually going to usher into the most well-being aspect of your life right now. Being in your comfort zone may actually lead to unwellness, is what I'm feeling. Navigating this uncharted sea as it pertains to things of the heart means you won't necessarily have a direction. You won't have a map to be able to look at. Because where you're going, no one's been there. On this journey through the heart, there's no way to really rely on help that you would typically get from others who may have gone before you, because this territory is yours to explore, right? Though there is a captain of your ship, you are the pioneer, the path maker. You are the map drawer with your own life force as the actual ink. This is a time where you're being invited to fully immerse yourself into the new. Yeah, even though you don't know what this sea of possibility has in store, You're being invited to stay curious and refrain from judgment or the need to label or the need to really fully understand, but give yourself time, give yourself freedom to really be curious. And be curious without limitations and boundaries and, projections by your memories or expectations or even outside of yourself, not letting anyone project inwardly on you. For who I'm speaking to, you're actually in a very amazing place right now. And you'll never be the same. Where you are entering in, you're ending a place and you're entering into a new space where you will never be the same. For voyaging on these waters, you'll never be the same. I just have to tell someone that. And I sense that there has been very difficult seasons again where there wasn't a lot of understanding. But you, my dear, you were led by the heartbeat. Even with things that seemed very foolish, I feel like for who I'm talking to, there was a leading in directions that normally would have been seen as foolish, but because you were being led by your heart, something was calling you that way. Something was calling you to do things that in your mind felt very unlogical, but because your heart was pulling you that way, and because your heart was actually the way that you were actually pouring out through life, you had to follow your heart to see what the outcome would be. And it was through your faith, it was through your being able to trust the inner calling that you actually were able to break through to where you are today. And there is no making sense of it, right? There's things that I look back on my life and I'm like, well, why did I do that? I don't understand. All I know is I had a calling to do that. I had a calling to that person, even though everything outside of me was saying no, even though everyone was telling me no, there was a calling to that person for a reason. Maybe there was something a seed that I planted in that person that changed them. I don't know. I wasn't meant to know because it's beyond me. It's beyond the ordinary. But it's like little things like that. Little things like that. I feel like there's been a path of leading through the heart that's been this very mystical journey for you. But you are a heart-led being, whoever you are. You're led by your heart, and it has brought you to a beautiful space in this time. I feel like you've loved deeply. And because of that, you sit here in this space today with the ability to kind of create whatever it is that you can imagine, whatever it is that you can see for yourself. You sit in that creative energy right now because of your obedience to your heart. And I'm also sensing a very pure energy, right? We're not just talking about being just emotional and just overly, emotional about everything, but I'm talking about a divine intelligence in operation here. and you submitting to that divine intelligence, even in times when you didn't understand it. There was an understanding that there was something greater than you. And maybe you'd find out, maybe you wouldn't, what exactly the leading was about, but there was a faith in doing what it was that was brewing in your heart. And you've come to a place of reward where you're being taken higher because of it. There's this elevation, consistent elevation of going higher and higher and higher because of that energy. I feel like this last season you've come through has been the most difficult of all, right? Life can be summed up in a matter of tests. Right? I almost sense that you have come through the most difficult one of all, one that almost kind of tore your very existence apart, your very being apart. But here you are, still intact, still elevating, still trusting, still moving forward in your heart. Here you are. You haven't succumbed to the challenges that have come up against you. Even now, as you sit in this very guarded position, there is still the being led through this divine inspiration of the heart. Your heart is how you breathe. Your heart is how you see. And it's how you move, obviously. So let's move on. But that's beautiful. So in your planets, coming out is the moon. So the moon may be very significant in aligning with your sign right now, whoever is resonating with this. Maybe you're someone who actually, resonates or reacts or has some type of interaction with the moon. Spiritually, the moon calls you to a position of defend. And going back to originally being called to do this reading, it was calling me to understand the need to diligently guard, right? Diligently guard your heart. And so spiritually, the moon is calling in this energy of protection, this energy of awareness around whatever it is that you are allowing to connect or be fed into your heart. You're being guided to really put up a stance of protection as it comes to your heart, understanding the importance of the circumstances of your life and its connection to what it is that's being connected to your heart. And so you are definitely being guided to position yourself in a stance of protection and guarding yourself, understanding the importance of what it is that you have to guard and how easy it is to be infiltrated, right? And to be thrown off course by what you would allow to be fed into it. Mentally, you are being guided through the moon to be accepting, to be open and accept. I feel like this is the energy of understanding. The moon definitely is very elusive. It has the potential to actually bring in or send out the tide, depending on where the moon is positioned. So it's very elusive energy. The moon is actually emotional. It actually is the wavering of emotions in and out. It's almost like unstable. But the moon holds the weight of reflection, and so it's almost like the energy of absorbing everything that is brought before it, and with the weight of having to reflect it. And so what is really the heaviness of the purpose behind what the moon does, there's this what seems like a level of instability, but it's really the weight of reflection, right? And so that could be this need to really accept, this level of instability that has been the way that you have perceived your heart in reaction to life at this point in time, or what has led to this point, could have seemed very unstable, and like the moon just kind of wavering in and out, up and down to different ends of the spectrum. But it's very purposeful for what it is that you were given to do in that time, or where it is that you were, your natural abilities, right? It was natural for what it was that you were doing. So mentally, you are being asked to be accepting of what it is, of the experience, and not be judgmental, but be accepting, not having to feel like you need to understand everything and dissect everything and make sense of everything, but just be accepting. Physically, the moon guides you to the energy of allowing your heart to tell you how to do, how to move forward. You fill in what comes after how to. Allow your heart to lead here. Does that mean throw out all sense of rhyme or reason or intelligence? No, because remember, the heart operates in divine intelligence. It's not absence of common sense or higher level of understanding. That comes with it, or else you wouldn't be rising, right? There is a divine purpose at play here, and the moon brings in that energy. And so the moon could be very significant, could be in your chart, right? You could be aligned with the moon. The moon could actually be in position right now, affecting things as you make this transition to this higher level. In your houses, we have the 4th house, which brings out the energy of your family, your home. This is connected to the root chakra, the base chakra, which talks about your foundations, family, connections, things that would make you feel safe. And grounded and able to take up space, like a sense of belonging. And in your 4th house, spiritually, this is guiding you back to a time in the past where you felt that sense of belonging. It's almost guiding you to be as you were in the past, or do as you did in the past. So it's alluding to something or a way of being that you embraced in your path. The fourth house is taking you back to that energy. So it's circling back around to something that possibly needs to be dealt with or possibly needs to be re-embraced spiritually. There's something that you did in the past and you're being guided back to that. In your fourth house mentally, again, it's pointing to your home environment or your family. So this very much could have something to do with your connections with your family mentally. This could weigh heavy on your heart right now. This could be something occupying a lot of space, something that you're trying to get answers. Well, this is a level of accepting, right? Things as they are, not really trying to fight for an answer. There's a level of ease here that I'm feeling that you're coming into. So mentally, I feel like there's lots of concern around your family right now, or your foundation, even your home environment. The fourth house brings up that energy. Physically, you're being guided really, or you could be in the energy already, just doing what makes you feel secure. Not really worried about anything or anyone outside of yourself. This is being really guided and turned to internal position. Yeah. You're currently in a place where you're doing what makes you feel good, what makes you feel secure. And that's good. It's good. So as I said before, you are really in this good place with your heart, connected with your heart. And I do feel a sense of security when it comes to you doing what makes you feel secure. And so you're in alignment according to your fourth house. And then the sign that came out for you is Aries. I don't know, you could be an Aries. You could just have Aries in your chart. But Aries brings in the energy of willpower when it comes to spiritual energy. Strong willpower. Aries actually is an animal representative of the beginning of spring. When it comes to the energy of Aries, usually this is the time where everyone is high in energy, preparing for war, because Aries represents challenge. It represents, well, it's usually a time, the beginning of spring, there's the sharpening of tools and getting ready for this challenge, this energy of war, because Aries is symbolic of the rams who actually during the spring enter this season of challenge when it comes to mating. And so that's the energy that's coming in spiritually. It's being prepared, revving up your willpower and being secure in yourself, revving up for this challenge. Like there could be something spiritually challenging as it pertains to the heart space. And it's almost like this energy is coming in to prepare you for that, for what's next. But it's good energy. It's being prepared. It's preparing ahead of time. It's spiritually being suited up and armored, in full armor, ready. Mentally, it's the assurance of what you think you know about whatever this is that's you're dealing with right now. Mentally, being assured in yourself, in what it is that you know. being solid in that area. Physically, this is being really set in your path, in your way, doing it the way that you see that it should be done, doing it your own way. It's almost like that energy of the pioneering, setting out on your own course, right? And this could very much be tapped in and being led by your heart. Absolutely. So if you're not an Aries, you're definitely in Aries energy. You could have Aries in your chart. Yeah. So I do sense that this has been a time where this has been almost like, though it sounds very active and very energetic and very thwarting, overall I'm seeing a stillness happening. Almost like a tree, a resting tree. There's a patience, there's a stillness, there's almost like a recouping from battle. It's that kind of energy of just listlessness, allowing yourself to just be. And this could very much be a time where you are allowing yourself this inner rest. And it's not a rest of like laying around and sleeping, not doing anything, but this is a pulling back from everything that would have some type of expectation of you. On a lower frequency, this could be perceived as a sense of selfishness, being that there's this retracted energy and really being internally focused and turned towards yourself, putting yourself first. On a higher level, this is really a time of deep, extreme self-care is what I'm feeling. It's almost like the energy of after coming out of a very strenuous time and taking the time to really recuperate, to pour back into yourself, to regroup, recenter, refocus, rebalance, to get grounded. And it's really self-focused. It's really focused around caring for yourself and allowing yourself to just be. Along with this, we have the Rainbow Prince, which talks about this energy of this coming out or pouring down in some type of way of something coming towards you, something being given to you in this time, being compensated for the work that you've done or your perseverance. I feel like there's definitely something being poured back into you for all that you have poured out. There's the energy of something being given back to you. Something being poured into you, possibly some type of gift being given to you. This could even come in the form of balance. It could come in the form of being restored. For everything that you've poured out, it's being given back to you and restored back to you from a higher source as well. And then we also have the web weaver. So there are synchronicities. There's like the divine intelligence and the energy of karma, cause and effect. It's almost like everything um, being brought together and being able to zoom out from that higher perspective. It's the understanding that everything is interconnected, and it's almost like weaving a web, if I could say that, how everything is interconnected, how the actions that are taken are bringing in a certain reaction, right? But it's also on a divine intellectual level that this is understood, that this is perceived, that how everything is interconnected, especially as you're able to look back. You're able to see things that you didn't understand possibly at that moment in time. Now you're able to look back and see how that played a part in where you are now and how it was significant, how it had to play out the way that it did. It's almost like the web that has been weaved. Yeah, everything is interconnected. And I feel like there is a strong sense of knowing now as well how connected everything is. And there is a tuning in to your intention, to the energy around your intention, and how you actually put time and effort and thought into everything that you would do moving forward here with this understanding. Understanding that there is something that's coming together and you play a major part in that. What you do plays a major part in that. Though it's mystical, there's an understanding of how you connect to everything in that way, if that makes sense. And in this part, I'm really getting 22 could be significant. Definitely playing a part as the builder. There's something that's being created, something that's being made. And you very well are a part of that. It gives the energy of co-creation. 22 is definitely the builder. It's the energy of being able to take what is known, ideas, visions, and actually bring them to fruition, putting the pieces together to actually bring it into the 3D. Yeah. And so, along with that, we have fire energy. Venus energy. And Taurus energy. And if we were talking in terms of signs, astrology, we're looking at fire energy would be Sagittarius, Leo, Aries again. But fire brings in this very highly motivated energy, a higher source of inspiration, very active, very leadership, spontaneous energy, wanting to go forth and make something happen or create. Venus brings in that energy of love and connectedness from the heart space, right? Venus is very much connected to the heart and brings in that level of passion and understanding. And then, of course, Taurus is the bull. That's the symbol. And it brings in fixed earth energy. And coincidentally, its ruling planet is Venus. This rules the throat, the neck, the vocal cords, the voice. So this could have something to do with speaking. This definitely could have something to do with the passion, something being spoken into being, or this could even align with how you show up during this time, how you show up in the world as it relates to your heart, the necessity to actually speak what it is that's brewing in your heart, what you're being given from a higher perspective. And so it's coming from two different perspectives. First is the perspective of acquisition, and the second is the perspective of appreciation. From the acquisition level, a Taurus would first look into get the material world set up, right? It's that inspiration. I guess this is all intertwining and making sense and pinging back and forth between what's being revealed here. But it's getting the material world set up with, the correct resources or adequate resources and possessions that reflect the values that you hold, your taste in things, and this level of security. Tauruses are said to really love things like luxury and beauty, right? But it's all within what it is that you're seeing, how you're perceiving that through your heart. And so there's this developing of that type of existence or lifestyle here. With appreciation, it's all about you understanding that having things doesn't necessarily bring happiness or enjoyment, but it's your ability to really appreciate even the most simplest things, I feel, is what is being perceived through your heart right now. Even the most simplest things like a hug, or being able to listen to something beautiful, or tasting something delicious. It's like a very simple perspective that is being perceived here or carried out right now. And with Venus here, it's almost like the energy that appreciation doesn't necessarily just come from being able to plan it or reaching it or even desiring it. It comes from just having the consciousness to stop, to intentionally stop to appreciate and enjoy. It's an intention here. Yeah. And so that's the energy that's coming through right now here. I just want to get a few tarot cards to end this out. We have the Four of Voices, the Muse of Inspiration, Five of Voices, the Six of Voices, and the Six of Materials. Very interesting, because even in the tarot, it's reflecting the same energy. The same energies that were just laid out with the oracle cards. The Four of Voices definitely brings in this very laid back energy, taking care of self, not really responding a lot to things that are outside of you right now. So you could be guided to be in this energy right now. And again, this is not to be construed as like a selfish energy. This is really a time for who this is resonating with. This is really an important time for you as this transitioning is happening. It's an important time for you to really be focused in on what's happening within you. And that's why you are being called into, and that's why you've been in this Four of Swords energy. It's not really allowing a lot of space or response to things outside of yourself right now. I'm getting, again, extreme self-care. Even though this card is showing like the spa, the spa type of energy, I feel like it's more reflective of what's happening inside of you from a heart's perspective. While the King of Inspiration, the King of Wands, talks about that fiery energy, mastering the art of inspiration and being able to go out and pursue and get what it is that you want, create what it is that you want, having all the necessary tools and talents and craftings that you need to bring whatever it is that's brewing in your heart, to bring it into being right now. Through this transformation, this energy is very much strong right now. And there's a change that's happening at the same time with how you're perceiving things. The Five of Swords talks about a change in your mental processing, a change in how you're seeing things, even how you deal with conflict, even how you deal with the things that would come up and present obstacles or challenges in that way. It's changing how you view that and how you respond to that. And it's also understanding, as you take a look, that a lot of this energy, a lot of the conflict, if we really understand how we manifest things into being, again, out of the heart is flowing issues. It's understanding your part in that. It's understanding the part that could actually, the part of that conflict, that inner conflict, the part of that you could very well be in control of and actually manifesting. And so there's a change that's happening in the way that you're perceiving from the inside out. Knowing that what you are inside, what you're reflecting out, is what you're manifesting on the outside of you. So there definitely could be a lot of seeking of sanctuary within yourself as you see all of these positions of meditation, going inwardly, being attuned with yourself. Five of Swords leads to the Six of Swords, the ability to actually remove or move away from anything that doesn't align with what's brewing in your heart. If it shows up on the outside of you and it doesn't align with the vision that you're moving towards, it's actually moving away from those things, declining those things, separating yourself from those things. This is the process that's happening right now within you. While at the same time pulling the energy of reciprocation. For everything that you would put out, you would bring it right back to you. Out of the heart flows the issues of life. For everything that you would put out, that's what you would manifest back to you. And so it's very much attuning into the processes that's happening within you, what needs to be given attention, what needs to be changed, What needs to be allowed to be set free is what I'm hearing as well. And so there's a lot of energies at play here as it pertains to your heart. And it all has to do with this change that's happening, this metamorphosis that's happening within you, within your heart space. I'm also hearing a lot of, there's a level of taking responsibility here that's happening. And I think we all can say that we've had misfortunes, unfortunate events that's happened, but it's essentially taking that, even taking the misfortunes that have befallen us, and actually creating from that space. Creating from that space that could actually be used as kind of like the spark or the idea that comes into play, where someone's able to make the world a better place or raise the vibration by using what sometimes we would consider as the negative experiences and actually turning that into something purposeful, something beautiful. And I feel like that's very much part of the energy that's happening here, even though you may not fully understand it in its entirety. There's definitely a transformation that's taking place. So wherever you are in this process, that's what I'm feeling with the heart. This is what I have. This is what has come out and has been revealed in regards to the heart. And so lots of air energy out here. I have fire energy and earth energy. And so this is what I am getting here. Overall, we have the Unikite, which again was a very gentle and comforting energy that promotes that feeling of gratitude, right? Overall, you're being guided into this energy of being able to intentionally stop and take account of what it is that you have to be thankful for. Just to even be in this process of metamorphosis and transformation. It's being grateful for the awakening that's happening here, both in the experience and in the potential of what is to come. The whole object is to help you to see like the beauty in life and to appreciate all of the little things as well as all of the big things. It's almost like being able to capture the essence of simplicity. And that works to remove the obstacles from personal growth, especially helping to alleviate any type of emotional pain that could be preventing you from moving forward. That's what this stone helps with. And I feel like that's very much in alignment with what we see here. And so that's my reading for this part of the heart. Examining the heart for this part. There's another one that will be coming up. And so if you enjoyed this reading, go ahead and hit the like button. You're also free to share or comment. And as I've always invited you, there's a link below. Feel free to schedule a session. They're short 15-minute sessions, pre-recorded, usually around purpose. And if you want to support the channel, there's a couple of links where you can also donate. And so thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and listen. I hope something was said that helps you to tap into your heart space, or even the process that you're experiencing right now. If you are feeling like there's this transformation that's happening within you, understanding that it's all intertwined with what's happening within your heart. That's very much a huge part of it, and the need to examine that and make sure that you attend to anything that's calling out for help or for attention. That's very much what this process is exposing. And so thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Until next time, tune in. It's been Letty Speaks, also known as Sunfire 369. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day. See you on the next one.